And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you are all well. There's a lot to go through in today's video. As you can tell by the title, a 4-year deal has been agreed. We will discuss all of this in a moment in this video. I want to start today's video by going over basically Celtic's start to the transfer window, if you will. It's been a very quiet time at the club, basically, with with incomings. And we sit at the beginning of July now, and there's been no new Celtic signings to talk about yet this summer. So many supporters I've seen online are slowly but surely becoming frustrated at this point of the lack of activity around the club, and I'm definitely getting there as well. I mean, we know that we need to improve this summer, and the sheer lack of activity so far has been quite concerning. This is kind of amplified even more when you consider that pre-season has already begun, and our first pre-season match is in less than 48 hours. And despite this, there has been no additions to this squad whatsoever. No strengthening whatsoever, which is really, really concerning. Just to put it into perspective a little bit, in previous windows, a fair amount of business regarding incomings had been done by this point. So if we go to 2019, for example, the club had already shelled out £7 million on Chris Julian, £300,000 on Luca Cannell, and £3 million on Bolly Bongoli by the time June was out. And then you look at a year later, Liam Shaw and Joey Dawson had both been signed by the start of July. Then, as Ange Postecoglou looked to build upon a double winning side in 2022, he had acquired the permanent services of Benjamin Sigles, Alexandre Bernabé and Jota by this point of the summer. And then a year later, Brendan Rodgers returned to the helm under the stewardship. Odenholm and Marco Tilly had been signed by this point 12 months ago. Now, it's not to say that all these transfers went on to do great things for the club, but the intent that was previously shown to bring players in was there, and we've not seen that so far this transfer window, which I mentioned is quite concerning. On average, Celtic have signed between 2 and 3 players by this point of the summer every year for the past 5 years, except COVID. Whether it be for reasons that we don't know, the club seems to have been sluggish this time around. We know we talked about Adam Idah, that deal being in the works right now. Celtic put in a bid for him, which is believed to be around £4 to £5 million. But that has been rejected by Norwich City, as their new manager wants to kind of assess him in pre-season and see if he could potentially have a place in his squad for the upcoming campaign, which for a Celtic point of view isn't great news. We really want to sign him on a permanent deal, given how good he was last season, or last half of the season on loan from January to the summer. But it looks like he will stay at Norwich for pre-season at the very least at the moment, unless Celtic can bump that money up for him for around £7 to £8 million, maybe persuade Norwich City otherwise. But yeah, I do want to know your thoughts as a whole so far on this transfer window. I mean, no activity whatsoever. Really concerning. We know the areas that need to be strengthened. We know that we need a striker, another defender, a goalkeeper, the priority. But so far, nothing has been done, or nothing's really happened with any of those positions so far. We've been linked to a whole host of players, but links aren't really good if no concrete deals are being made or being spoke about, which is really annoying. Now, a deal that has been done, but in the opposite direction, is for a Celtic player, Roca Varta. So this is a 4-year deal that's been agreed. We mentioned the other day that he will be leaving Celtic properly now. Despite the club offering him a new contract, he has rejected it, and he's gone to Watford in the Championship. And now it's been confirmed today that Roca Varta has agreed to a 4-year deal with Watford, marking the end of his young Celtic career. So the development comes after much speculation and interest from various clubs, particularly in Italy and the English Championship. Varta, who made 6 first-team appearances for Celtic, is now set to officially sign for Watford in the coming days. This is reported by Sky Sports. So the 19-year-old midfielder has taken the decision to leave Celtic following extensive talks with Watford. The young Republic of Ireland under-23 international has already visited Watford's training facilities, solidifying his decision to join the club. While Celtic supporters may feel a sense of loss seeing a promising talent depart, a club will receive mandatory compensation for Varta's development, as he has as he is a product of Hoops' youth academy. Celtic entitled to £237,000 in training compensation. This sum acknowledges the club's role in nurturing Varta's growth and development over the years. So for many Celtic fans, Varta's departure felt inevitable. The opportunity for regular playing time and further development at Watford proved to be a decisive factor in his decision. And this is quite a recurring factor at Celtic. We either lose youngsters at the expiry of their contract and we get a little bit of compensation for them, like we have with Varta, being £237,000, which isn't a lot of money, or they get poached by bigger Premier League clubs and they thrive elsewhere. We seen it with Ben Doak going to Liverpool 2 seasons ago now. So it's happened quite a lot at Celtic. It's frustrating that this has actually happened again. It's not really a surprise now. Obviously, Celtic tried to keep hold of him. They tried to offer him a contract, but can you blame him when he's not really seen a clear way into the first team? I don't think you can. He, as I mentioned here, 6 appearances last season. It's not a lot for a man that wants to get regular first team football. Of course, you're not guaranteed to start at Celtic. But you would expect maybe for him, someone that's so highly rated by the club, that he might get more opportunities in the first team. That never really came for him. So he looked to find that elsewhere at Watford and he signed a 4-year deal. The compensation fee is not a lot either, which is frustrating. There will be no sell-on clause or anything like that either, given the fact that his contract was expired. So we can't even insert like a 10% or 20% sell-on fee for him if he was sold by Watford in the future for big money, which is really annoying as well. So yeah, overall, an absolute blunder of a deal, really. Just terrible business by Celtic. And hopefully we can avoid this in the future, and hopefully we can allow young players that have great bags of potential to maybe get into the first team more regularly and clear a pathway to that first team. But yeah, it's kind of a depressing video overall, to be fair. Obviously, the lack of transfers so far this transfer window, and then the ones that are happening are exits and departures for very young, promising players like Varta. So yeah, not a great start to the transfer window, considering how much improvement we know we need at this squad. But yeah, I want to know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. I mean, in particular, just the transfer window as a whole. Are you frustrated? Are you even surprised by the lack of business from Celtic's end in terms of incomings? Or does it not really surprise you anymore with this club? For me, as long as we make strides in the next few days and try and get some quality first-team players in through the door, I won't be too annoyed. But I am slowly getting frustrated now by the lack of business in terms of incomings. But yeah, drop a like on this video as always, and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.